Today's idea is about a better approach to calendars. And the thing with calendars is I've always hated them. I always hated them. Google Calendar and all the rest. So imagine we have a week, right? So maybe on Tuesday, I do have an appointment here. Maybe on Wednesday, there's another one. That one could be like the hairdresser. And that one maybe is, for example, a doctor's appointment. And then, let's say Friday, there's actually a wedding happening. Maybe not mine, but whatever, whole day. So the thing with this is everything looks the same. Like every day is just a day of the same things. Of course, I have certain colors that I can play with, but in a way, it's a very fixed structure. And if I think about the timeline of the year, really, there's actually only few main events, let's say, that are memorable for the year. And that might be like a birthday party, a wedding, like birth of a child or whatever, right? But if you want to look back on your calendar, like later on, you will not notice any different. Like everything is the same. And that's the problem I have. And I'm going to show you how I would approach this differently. So now imagine that we have the year and there's like certain events that are just different from the rest, right? Maybe if you look at it that way, like looking back at the year, you will see that this was a major event, like just from the height of it. Maybe this was the wedding, right? And this, for example, maybe was the childbirth, but that was just a minor appointment. Like it's maybe not even worth mentioning compared to the others. And that's kind of the main idea here. So instead of thinking about days with those rigid structures where everything is the same and I have to plan in my like events or tasks or things that are happening, I instead think about like little blocks, right? Little blocks of relative importance. So I'll show you like one more. And then, for example, this one, then we have a minor one, a little one. And now, all of a sudden, the concept of relative importance comes into play. Relative importance, and that also leads to the name I'm going to share in a bit. So imagine that's like a little task. It's a 1. That's also 2 ones. That's maybe a 2. Those are 2 little ones. And that's maybe like an 8 or whatever, right? So maybe we make it even bigger. And that 8 means that that was of the relative importance way more than all the rest. This is worth standing out big time. And when I look back at the year, right? When I look back in time, I will be able to see that this event was one of the major events of this year, and I'm easily navigating to it. So if we think about the overall structure then, right? So looking back, we can easily see that, or maybe I'm getting like a bit, that this one is important and this one is not, right? And that's the value, that's the benefit of it. And especially when we, oh yeah, that's why. When we now, I'm going to delete this real quick. When we now imagine that we have to plan ahead, right? So maybe we are here right now, and then we see that we have planned ahead, that there's like a major thing coming up, right? There's still a couple of days coming, but this is happening soon. And instead of having like the equal thing where I will not see that that day is the major day, I instead, from having this view, I'm able to absolutely prepare for it, right? And preparation, planning, and then of course, documentation. This is what calendars are all about. This is their main value. This is what we use them for. This is their benefit. So if I sum all of this up, this is something like a new concept that I call TORI. Oops. So I call this timeline of relative importance. And that is my new concept instead of using a calendar, We're using the timeline of relative importance, or as I like to call it, TORI. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you are a developer or you feel there's like a Chrome plugin or anything we can do to change or to add, instead of having like this rigid structure where we have the events in there, to all of a sudden begin giving like a relative importance to those events and then formatting that into structures like this instead as a timeline. This is way easier to see and way easier to grasp. And my like art teacher from back in school always said, like, a good image also works without colors. And that one absolutely doesn't work, and that one absolutely does. So yeah, let's think about it. If you have any ideas, let me know. Grab the idea, do your own thing. Think of me, maybe like give me some share of whatever we're gonna do. But that's the idea here. Either developing your own kind of calendar thing, which I wouldn't recommend, or rather having like a different view of the existing calendar, right? To approach it in a way where you add the numbers to the different tasks and then have a view of a TORI. That's it. All right. See you soon.